Who would have thought? It's the end of the year, and I'm still rocking, you know, 24, better times and lesser crimes, better health, happier moments, less confusion, more winning, something like that. Anyway, nobody watches these things. They're kind of for my own personal log of what is and is not. And once they're on the screen, they certainly are. And that's the important thing for me. You are me. No one else is watching. So it doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, this will probably be my last video for the year. It's been pretty epic. Just crack a cold one. Up, cold soda. All good. Someone saying hi. Is that? Oh, my eyes are bad. Patricia. Patricia Gurung Chetri. Hi. Will I say hello back? Um, I don't know if you like this, and you probably won't stick around, and you're not even watching anymore, so that's fine. Um, anyway, um, as I say, this will probably be my last video of the year. I've got my audience in front of me, silently clapping me on. There they are, all happy to be here with me. So, they're my audience, and there's no one else here, so that's fine as it is. Um, anyway, I had plans to make more videos, and then I'm like, I'm from Australia. Um, obviously, if you can tell by my accent, well, I had plans. I had plans to make more videos, but as the old Econ Bunningman song goes, I'm a yo-yo man, always up and down. I have plans and schemes, and then they don't come to fruition, and then I just kind of let them pass, which is fine. But I have had for a while a plan to read out some of this writing that I made during the middle of the year, which may or may not hold some resonance and weight in the aftermath of all the stuff that's gone on this year. Um, and I did make a video about what has gone on this year, but I only got through half of it, and I might get back to the second half at some point. Anyway, as I say, I got this notebook when I was in hospital, and pretty much the first half of it was kind of um, like definitions of made up words that were coming through me and stuff. As I say, I'm basically an automatic writer. Um, I try not to think about what I write before it comes out of my hand. Um, just like talking, I guess, in a way, but um, in a literate sense, I guess. Um, and maybe it's because I think too much before I talk, and writing is a way for me to just get out what it is. Anyway, that was middle of the year, and after I'd written all this stuff about endocritic halitostasis and acrostachial phallasis and tubulistic andropy and all these other things, um, I started another series which was basically just an imaginary kind of conversation with a she, and whoever she is, I don't know. I was kind of in love with a prostitute at the time, but it wasn't her. But you know what I mean. Like it was a strange time, as all times really are. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like if things are feeling right, if things feel like they're not hard, then I'm probably heading for a fall, and that certainly were the case. But at the time, I was punching through, doing what I could to survive, staying positive, and as I say, positivity wasn't that difficult while I was there. I had Legos, there were some cool kids and stuff, and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it was a pretty crazy time, um, as all times in the hospital are. Um, anyway, without further ado, I'll just start reading these and see what we do. So, as I say from the title, this is called What She Said. Dignity is an illusion, she says, snorting pistachios out her nose. The broken-hearted always get what they want, no more, no less. It is with many things that these words come, and to them they shall return. Is it easy to spout forth a stream of nonchalance? To not self-edit as the words move out along the page? No, it is nigh impossible. One always is thinking of a word or two ahead of what is tangible, always deriving some sequence to the lucubrations so that they may make sense. But that is not what we want. What is in order in this moment is pure sentient genesis, every word springing everlasting from the pen, ready to take on a world that has become stale with the porous diet of teleprompted drivel and mass-produced non sequiturs. How are we to reach grace and glory if we are forever pacified by brain food that is tantamount to shit? We all think we're going to be the ones fighting for survival against the zombies, but that is statistically improbable. Be ready to decay and eat flesh, and maybe you will know the name of your Lord. The Lord. Anyway, that was starters. Just getting into the groove, I guess. On to the next one. Sleeplessness is a gift, she says, dousing her tunic in petals. Dreams are but a plaything for the unworthy, wishing themselves into the abyss. Thoughtfulness befalls those deeply within the life, and they shall know they are blessed. Deceit lives everywhere, but the true shall accept transient reality as it occurs and try to make the most of it. There shall be glory and prizes when magic becomes fully apparent, and one shall not fear the next word nor consider it too deeply. They shall go forth and spread ink on the page in a way that is wise and gracious. Perhaps there is no divine wisdom in the ramblings that ensue, but that is neither here nor there. Whatever sprouts from this pen is new and fresh and never before cited by a person. Surely that must mean something. When I was young, I always thought that the odds were strong that someone else in the world was doing the exact same thing as myself. Now I feel such simultaneity is far less likely. Beautiful snowflakes fall silently and dissolve into nothing. Me, I ch- Me, I choose to build igloos with that shit and let us just see. Okay, as I say, these were moments, this was the time, this was the place, and these are the things that came with me just about automatically. So, am I insane? Is anyone who's to say? There are pathetic people in this world who deserve none of our attention. she says, spraying buckets of imaginary chaos into the universe. The more we pay them mind, the more power is added to them. And that really is the last thing we want. And yet, and how. There really is so much that might be said of these things, but the target is to live with poise and grace, and thought of scoundrels and the faithless only move us to walk with the devil and cherish the desire for bad feeling. Nobody said that the good life would be an easy one, but one should rest softly and know that it will all be worth it in the long run. Surely the beggar is the richest in spirit, as they know on a daily basis that all things shall pass, whilst the billionaire exists on trifles that are expected to last forever. It is nice to have things, but to be the creator of something that has concrete meaning is all the more powerful. How are we to reach our goals of understanding if we are forever bystanders to an empty show that has no value beyond the momentary bliss that comes from its consumption? Oh. Nothing. There really is nothing to it, she says as she slowly drowns in her own unkindness. Just try and be for a moment, and you will see it is all simulation and two-way mirrors that defy consciousness and allow broken sanity to reign supreme. The fucking television won't turn off, and its interminable dross continues to eviscerate my longing and nihilism. For all I know, society may have completely broken down, and I would be none the wiser, as this digital dude channel isn't going to televise the revolution or the Holocaust or whatever we have coming to us next. It really is an empty vacuum where meaning used to sit before we were atomized, before we gave in to fear and our entrenched misogyny and decided to parrot away our lives on tiny little prefabricated branches where we tweet and talk our lives away. All expression must have a purpose and be directed towards likes and views and whatever external validation we see fit to emote towards. That nothing of it has a single iota of purpose is secondary, so we are urged to keep at it and try again. Hello, everyone. These, as I say, are just ramblings and scribblings and moments that I had while I was in hospital from a from about, I guess, of like winter solstice madness, I guess I'd say. So that is that. Um, but I shall go on. And everyone watching there, Happy New Year to all of you. It's only about 3 hours left in Australia. Wherever you are in the world, all the best to you. May 2024 carry good tidings and happy moments. Anyway, these, I don't know if they're happy moments. They are what they are. They were what they were. And I shall continue. Why do you cry? She asks, draining fluid from her eyes with a syringe. Don't you know it is pointless, that your feelings are but temporary and will not save you from anything? Fear not, brave souls, and know your sorrow and depravity are just as real as a sofa or a piece of bread. Emotions summon with them intention and purpose, and we must live through them if we are to reach Xanadu. Sure, nobody cries for the sad man, except himself, and surely that should be enough. Know that that light at the end of the tunnel could be literally anything, and you'll only find out exactly the origins of the glow if one keeps on going. Sometimes it is lines, or bars, or mouthfuls of broccoli, or 10 more minutes of a Steven Seagal movie. Whatever it may be, one should always attempt to forge through for whatever it may be, one should always attempt to forge through, for it is worth it, and one may always reap the rewards. For me, Now, I just know that soon the page will be full and there will be nothing else to do but rest in peace, or else turn the page and keep on going. Never forget the name of your Lord, and always fight the good one. Okay. Please don't drive me home, for I do not have one, she says as snot dribbles out onto her lip. Please don't drive me home, for I do not have one, she says as snot dribbles down onto her lip. Your kindness is all I have to live for, and I fear it shall dissolve with my emotions and merge into nothing, just like the bin goblin. Where shall we head? That is the question forever haunting me, and to that I honestly can't answer. I'm just on this lonely road searching for a forever companion, always wondering whether my intentions are true and my fortitude is strong. One must avail themselves of enmity and doubt, shudder at the thought, and don't let it bring them down. There is an ending to all things, nothing goes on forever, so don't freak out and stop prematurely. That will only lead to worse, that will take away an honest understanding of all things. So forge through the crucible and know that it will all make sense on the other side. Fear not, you will be stronger for the effort, and the achievement will never be forgotten. Stay happy, long insufferably, and do not become the devil's plaything. Alhamdulillah. And nobody's watching again. Howdy, howdy, howdy to the nobody. As I say, this is for me. I am not a preferred YouTube creator. My content goes down the sinkhole like a fucking big poo every time. Doesn't matter what I say, doesn't matter what I do. Um, there are no edits. This is just fucking old school YouTube weblogging, I guess. But I shall continue. Never forget, pain is love, she says, picking twisties out of her teeth. There is no suffering without longing, and it is better to be full of sorrow than empty of anything at all. I try to live a merciful life, but it has its limits, and I give in to bad feeling and childish tantrums. It is forever the question how to feel happy throughout difficult circumstances where it feels like life and the universe are conspiring against oneself. But perhaps but perhaps such times are given to us as a gift so that we may build resilience and know how to survive difficulty and learn to appreciate the good times all the more when they come and realize they really aren't that different and it's all subjective and dependent on how we are looking at things. Also, we're tiny cosmoses ourselves, forever twirling and spinning throughout a universe full of stars and planets, always affecting our lives and outcomes. So please remember to be kind to oneself. Smile when you can and remember that acts of kindness are as much for the giver as the receiver. And it costs nothing to be polite. It costs nothing to be polite. I mean, sometimes rudeness feels like the right thing to do, but, you know, never comes. It always comes back. It always does come back. That's just my. That's just my 2 cents. And on and on. To be bold is to be as an angel, she says, nervous of the consequences. All of these things, all of these shall pass except for the written word, which might just last a little longer. Go in peace and make good of your potential. It is easy to give in to sorrow and the memories of trauma, but this only continues the cycle of pain and gets one nowhere. It is better to have faith that good times are on the way, and even these ones aren't too bad. Make happiness out of sadness and consecrate the miracle of breath, for even the dying man is living for now. Some will never know joy and will always feel bad for themselves, and for such people there will never be change. Theirs is a wallowing in misery and always the lure of tantrums and ill feelings. I must stay humble and keep my head normal size and remember that happiness is our birthright, and things weren't meant to be that difficult. It is the sinful that make others believe that bad things are inevitable, and we should just accept it as such. Love is powerful and all encompassing, and if we can only believe in it, we shall see in our own experiences that the universe is kind and pays back those who do good acts and live with peace in mind. Fuck. I wish I'd been reading this back when I made some pretty hefty decisions that I don't regret, because I don't regret anything I do, but it's certainly one of those things when you write things in moments and look back at them and go, why didn't I walk my talk? Why didn't I do what I said I thought? Why did I do completely other things? Maybe moments come, moments go. All these things, as I say, all things shall pass. And you know, my thing is, I'm not a bad person, but sometimes I'm bad at being a person, if that makes some, I don't know. Anyway, um, take your pain and put it in a bottle, she says, designing a dress and putting a pin in her hair. Throw it in the ocean and try to forget about it until it comes back to you as a tree of life. Live within the light, and it will be endless. Sometimes it feels like these things will never end, and the sorrow will only continue to grow until it is everything we can see and feel. But this is just our imaginations begging for punishment that we do not deserve. We should always be grateful for the experiences we are granted, and never assume to know what is coming next. It is fine to make plans for the future and dream about how things ought to be, but these are but castles in the sky that will never take heed in reality. The man who can predict the future is one truly living in hell, for the free person accepts that what is ahead of them is not written, and indeed, many things, if not anything, is possible. It is only once things have occurred do they seem to make sense, but we the few know that we are not the authors of our lives. They are written by a benevolent and all powerful Creator, forever testing our abilities of reaction and acceptance, and it shall all be accounted for in the long run. Yeah. Shit. Okay. I used to be fearful and afraid of life, she says, twirling her hair. I used to be fearful and afraid of life, she says, twirling her hair and singing to herself. But now, oh now, I just let the chips fall where they may and be grateful for the experiences I am lucky enough to have. Please, I beg of you, do not fight the signs and suggestions given you as one's life unfolds, and know that all things happen with merciful intent, and shame and guilt shall never conquer all. Take the circumstances as they happen and be steadfast in your actions, always knowing you are exactly where you are meant to be, and your life spirit is forever growing and changing with deep experiences of love. The deepest knowledge is of nothing at all, and to be there is all you can ever really do. We pay for things in many ways, but we also gain immeasurably from watching and interacting and inculcating the moments as they pass. Communing with the self is a painful and oft traumatic experience that is essential to knowing oneself, but truly impossible if one is full of sin and self doubt. The internal demons will fight against oneself and make one only see darkness and defeat. Have levity and always see the brightness in the world, and it will all be good. Yeah. To be sure, to be sure. Do you want to know a secret? She asks, dunking the tea bag 4 times and then throwing it in the trash. Well, sorry, I don't have any. I live with my heart on my sleeve and wear my pain like stains. To not disclose anything is to give in to the reckoning, and nobody's got time for that. Why do anything without pride, without a desire to let others know your achievements and acknowledge your selfhood no matter how big or small the action may be? We are microscopic in the bigger scheme of things, but we are also important actors playing out in the scenes of history, whether we acknowledge it or not. Perhaps we are automatons following the orders of the condoned voices that say eat, sleep, defecate, murder, repeat. Or else we can sit within ourselves and ponder the deep wisdom inherent in our microcosmos as it is spinning and unfurling. Sometimes words have meanings, and other times they are but spouted minutiae, propaganda for the dogs, and nothing more than empty simulation. Know that there is strength within intention, and and true expression is heaven sent, no matter what. Well, that's what I thought at the time, and maybe if I was put in such situations again, I may have different opinions, and often I do. But that's the beauty of automatic writing. It's like just one of those things, you know. We're never exactly the same person at any given moment, um, and we take our pleasures as we see fit, and sometimes, especially for a neurodivergent person as myself, sometimes there is bliss and there is knowledge and wisdom, and sometimes there is just despair and enmity. But these were not so much. Anyway, I'll go on. This there's still quite a lot, quite quite a few pages, quite a few pages. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, and I don't know if this is repetition and nobody's watching, but I'm watching. I'm watching you, Ray. I'm watching you back at you, mate. You're all right in my book. Anyway, there are multitudes within all of us, she says, tripping over herself as she dances the sidestep. Be comforted by your own patience and company, and never be too ready for the next thing, for it is always coming and will never be as completely expected. I know within myself that I can now rest comfortably in myself, understanding that the one who does no harm lives a truly blessed life. To do good actions is a gift to the self. To understand that the world is just a little bit better through one's positive manifestations should make one feel warm inside and give the insight that this deed will always be paid back when the time is right. We should always live as if the next breath will be our last, for it is always the first for someone out there. Do not judge those without the ability of insight, and pray for those who choose not to apply it. At the end of the time, all we have is our subjectivity, but that is deep and magical and inscribed with the knowledge and wisdom of the ancients. Be kind to yourself, and your inner life will flourish. That is how it has always been. The day that sorrow ends shall truly be a momentous one, she says as her cat plays the piano on her stomach. Smile broadly and know that happiness is truly in the eyes of the willing. Treat no man as an enemy, but do not consort with those who have evil in their hearts, for these actions will come of nothing. There is no good reason to act with entitlement. It costs nothing to have good manners and try to leave a companion with good feeling and glad emotions. If the words do not come, that is fine as well. There is surely time for peace and quiet, as this is when love and inspiration spread within and allow hope and divinity to drive us forward into the unknown future. We are but drops of nothingness, and yet within there are pure kernels of all things. If potential feels stunted and impossible, find another field for this to grow. Our time is short, but also eternal. Once one has truly existed, there really is into where such life will take you. As we come, and to black holes we shall return. So fear not, and spread the love of the universe in all your actions. I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd done that. But hindsight's 2020. And how do to the person watching, and you are going to go in three, two, one. You're still there. Hello. And I shall continue on. You are always so busy making plans for the future, she says, waxing her legs and armpits. Don't you know it's all going to happen anyway, and that all you can do is show up and play your part in the proceedings as they happen? It is the habit of a lifetime to play out unmanifested realities in the mind and then duly forget about them as the steamroller of life renders them lost to the vagaries of time. There is perhaps no harmful outcomes to what amounts to wishful thinking, but with time it becomes an addictive behavior, and when the time finally comes, one loses spirit and accepts compromise, and the heart continues to crumble. Excitement in potential is a human reaction that starts feeling good, but often leads to mental pain and suffering. Surely one should be steadfast in their decisions for action, but they must always also know that outcomes and circumstance are truly out of their control, and happy endings are perhaps the least expected ones. So go gently into the night and be happy with what the universe gives you, for that is how it was meant to be. Hello, Jenny. Hey, Betty. This is Jenny. Hello. Cuckoo. She wants to go now. She takes life as it comes, doesn't she? Don't she, baby? Okay. So yeah, there's moments, moments of clarity that feel like they'll last forever, but they never do. Diddy, boogie. Those who take kindness for weakness really are horrendous people, she says, pulling petals from the daisy. But the truly kind must also be strong and resilient, or they in turn will be pushed over in the abyss. The good within people is so often tested and proven to be nothing but an empty urge to be liked. When their kindness is shown not to have this result, many give in to resentment and stop doing good deeds. True altruism must be an end in itself, but also come with the caveat that enough is enough. Always give more than you can, but always less than you ought to. This may sound a paradox, but the heart wants what it wants, and we should always be left with something. There is always a time to give and a time to take, and we should forever be gracious in all actions, as there must be balance in life. To be unable to accept help is a sign of arrogance and derision, but to take without the want to give is inevitably worse. Live life as if floating on an endless ocean, and know that landfall is a blessing but not the ultimate aim, for the end is closer than the beginning. Mm, that's what she says. Okay, this is a bit of a doozy. Why am I a pariah? She asks as she puts down the razor blade and wrinkles her nose. All I've ever wanted to do is spread love and blessings in the world, and yet somehow I'm made to feel like the bad one. Goddamn people. It is a difficult path travelled by the blessed ones, for no one will sing their praises, and they must always hone their moral compasses in the flames of self compassion and true belief. Never feel entitled because of one's good intentions, and always accept things with gratitude even if they entail disappointment. The blessed should know they are on a true path and that the people they pass and meet are fated to be exactly where found. External validation should never be the goal, and if it is come across, it should be accepted with grace and dignity and not as something specially deserved. Remember, if things are too good to be true, either it is a trap or one's expectations are too low. Happiness is the aim, but know that sorrow will just make the good times feel that much better. Hug a friend who needs it, but also yourself. Okay, ask me anything, anything at all, she says, buttering a croissant. I am an open book, and I will tell it as I saw or experienced it. I may not give you an answer that serves you or of a vein you want to hear, but know that it comes from my place of truth, so you may as well stick it in your pipe and smoke it. Double down whenever you can and never give up on an opportunity to play a game of chance. You never know what a random conversation will yield, or when the wisdom of the ancients will reveal itself within the seemingly ordinary. Do not write anyone off, even in points of disagreement, as all thinking souls have a wealth of interesting experiences that got them to where they are at this moment. Try to make others laugh when you can. It will often not be successful because so many have written joy out of their inner dialogue. But levity is always worth the effort, and every moment of good intention, go- and every moment of good intention jest is a point for your soul, and it will never be forgotten. Always remember that good feelings are our birthright, that is often stolen from us without knowledge, and is true glory when it is gained back. Mhm. I haven't read any of these for a long time, so it's all coming back at me exactly as it's coming at you, which is me. So it doesn't really matter. Um, I just, as I say, wanted to stand out 2023 with some moments from 2023, and there's a person there. Hello, person. Um, I shall continue. I guess what I'm seeing now is a lot of this is repetitious, I guess, but that's all right. Human suffering. Now that is an experience, she said, painting the dilapidated shed orange. One can only truly be punished if there is a kernel of pain within. One can only truly be punished if there is a kernel of pain within that can be grown upon. Live with joy and beauty in your heart, and you will never be a prisoner. When one knows true misery, those who exude joy in a meaningless way are really just the worst. There is nothing as bad as the screaming voice of discontent that bears no purpose in reality, so it festers and infects one's internality and culminates in tears that will not fall. It is said, nobody cries for the sad man, but perhaps this is just stoic nonsense, and what is really hoped for is a standing ovation for feeling one's inner turmoil, for rising deep inside and knowing that pain is the true key to happiness and an interceptor to make reality a better place. Last thing I would want another person to feel. So we, the ones with wounds on our hearts and scabs on our souls, must commit ourselves to truth and levity and the never ending journey of happiness. The never ending journey of happiness. Well, fucking hell. Maybe that's my journey. And, well, I'm okay now, but, you didn't see me 3 days ago, so. No, 3 days ago wasn't so bad. Oh, you the living, she says, pouring too much cordial in her glass. How fickle, how stupid, how quick to judge. Forever making deals with the devil, always feeling sad for one's sins. Goodness sake, it really isn't that difficult. Build, grow, connect, sleep, repeat until your end. Service is the key. Never take anything for granted and know you have the power to change the world one speck at a time. Feel your feelings and own your experiences, then go forth and find some more. Being sorry for oneself is a self-defeating loop. Do it too much and it will only lead to more regret as the moments of action pass you by. There is infinite wisdom within all of us, as the mind is the ultimate undiscovered territory. I live I live multitudes in my REM state, then more unfold in my reality, and the unconscious state is presupposed to nothing. Health is an acceptance of given circumstances and a realistic perception of all that is occurring. One should be able to sit comfortably with their thoughts and know that by grace of the universe everything is going to be all right and that all wounds shall heal with time. Yeah, yeah. Doesn't stop me from making fucking bad decisions, but they felt like the right ones at the time. Who's to say? She doesn't say. What does she say? To those who have turned their backs on us, truly let them eat cake and know the name of their captor, she says, peeling boiled eggs with a teaspoon. We have given them more thought than they ever deserved to our own detriment. Those not in our lives are exactly where they're meant to be, and we forge forever forward with beauty in our hearts and truth on our minds. It is easy to look back on times gone by and wish for them back again, but it can never be. Tenacity is at the center of both the criminal and the saint. So never surrender or throw your experiences away, for yours is the spirit of the wind and the glass of the cathedral. I like that bit. Mm. Spend less and enjoy more, and forever bathe in the glory of the sinful, for they too shall be washed clean. Forever give enough rope for a person to hang themselves, and they may choose to build a bridge. There is nothing written in until it is down on paper. So be cheeky with your honesty and know that laughter really does have the power to change the world. So do with it what you will and your egos open to the keep your eyes open to the consequences for they may often be immense. Yeah, fucking A. Jeez. This is like me talking to myself from like 6 months ago going, did you listen to this? Did this resonate with you? Not really. funny. I was told a few years ago the key is to try to commune with your higher self, with your higher purpose, your higher being. And I guess this kind of automatic writing is that kind of thing. Um, and as I say, there's lessons for me to learn from this. If there's no lessons for you who isn't me out there to learn, well, be it as it may. But as I say, this is for me. So on and on and on. Oh, fudge nuggets. I've broken my pen, she says, whispering Lucifer a sweet poem of desire. Whatever will. Oh, fudge nuggets. I've broken my pen, she says, whispering Lucifer a sweet poem of desire. Whatever shall we do? Make rainbows out of bathtubs and nonchalance out of petunias? No. Thou art radiant and sublime, and you will know the truth as it passes your lips. There will come a time when questions of your of there will come a time when questions of your legitimacy will persist, and may feel tempting to lose heart and disown your experiences as illusion or mania. At these moments, one should commit to personal growth and humility, to reading from the wealth of human experience and allowing such previous life sources to resonate with your inner fruits. Try to be steadfast when feelings of shame and loneliness come to bear, for it is important to remember they are not eternal, but only tests of inner fortitude. Every one of us has it in us, and perhaps it is the lucky who don't know and can move through life like paint on a canvas. But for those whose spirits have been forged in the crucible, greatness is a responsibility not to be taken lightly, but also to be enjoyed and played with and nurtured, so its full nature of potential may be enlightened to the world. Perhaps, maybe just ramblings of a madman. Who really knows? But I am what I am. I'm here. I'm queer. I'm a queer person. As in, I'm fucking weird. Weird. Doesn't matter. This is just me talking to me. So it's all good. It's all jizzle and the niddle hizzle. Cast your reflections deep into the ocean, she says, noticing her shoelaces are untied. They are good for nobody, least of all yourself. Say farewell to yesterday and live indefinitely in the wonder of the moments. Sure as anything, there will come a time when you will not be, just as there are many places that know nothing of your existence. I'll repeat that. Sure as anything, there will be Sure as anything, there will come a time when you will not be, just as there are many places that know nothing of your existence. Be you short or tall, dominant or submissive, our lives are infinitely minuscule, unlike our minds which contain multitudes. And so we wait and watch and yawn and cry, hopeless in our misconceptions of what this world is for. People forego greatness for popularity and crucify those who make them feel weak and inconsistent. To know true oneness is to fade completely into the darkness of solitude, and it is there that one will sink and swim. The outreach of the lost is really punitive, hoping for anything that will cast them asunder into the sweet groves of magical thought and incandescent wonder. Take traction from any knowledge you might, and forget all the cliches and anachronisms that continue to make your life slippery and deserted. Well, Almost finished my soda. Hopefully, there's not too much. Oh, there's up there. No, only a couple more pages. Desperation is a lonely craft, she says, picking boogers from her nose and flicking them at the ceiling. Take shelter with the cumbersome and gloatful. Perhaps then you will know what it is to be dead on the inside and forget no more what the prophets told us. Seek wisdom, gain clarity, and want for everything. That is the path to true falsehood. Let the silent ones follow, but always watch their footsteps and seek the wisdom of their solemnity. Happiness is within their sorrow and disengagement. For those who are fearful of life us may secretly know the truth to it. Boast as much as you like, but know these words will come of nothing when your heart is lost and the birds descend from the trees. If it were not the invalids and patriotic, perhaps if it were not for the invalids and patriotic, perhaps darkness would never end, and we would sleep until the time came for us to spell out exactly what our abilities are, and it would be all good. Never question your first instinct unless it is also your last. Always be spirited and with good humour until it is your time to tell the joke. Then become tepid and mundane, and always forget the punchline. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And that's that. That is that. That is what she said. My exercise in automatic writing, or at least one of them. Um, as I say, I wrote that earlier in the year, and I'll come back and listen to them myself and see if they have any resonance. These are other writings that I made at a memorial, um, and they were written a fair bit later and definitely of a different poise and feeling. So I won't go into them. That's just what I wanted to do. Anyway, um, as I say, maybe I'll do another post before midnight, but probably not. I've only got internet until midnight. There's this, my internet service gives me free weekends of internet, and I don't have any. I don't have any data otherwise. So we'll see what we see. Anyway, thanks for not being there for me, except for you, Ray. Who's always there for me because I am myself, and I always enjoy my own content. What else is there to do except build Legos, which I'm going to do right now after I have a feed. So, to all of you out there, may 2024 be a glorious year. May the sorrow and suffering and killing end. Um, may everyone come to their senses and be their true selves, whatever that may be. Um, and may we turn away from anger. Um, may we know that the universe is here for us to enjoy and not just to do silly, horrendous things in, you know. And I mean, who am I? I'm a hypocrite. So, as I say, this is as much for myself as anyone else. So, until we next meet, may you all exist within the glory of the universe, and I'll leave it at that. Peace to the lovers. Yeah. Ciao, 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 ciao.